So it is day 3. Yes, day 3 of camp, and it is 11 o'clock at night, and I'm ready for bed, like always.
And I wish Esther would leave my room so I could sleep.
Except she doesn't wish I could leave because she loves me too much. But okay, so we did so much stuff today, and I'm so tired that I'm gonna look at our schedule and our notes and stuff to remember everything because I have learned way too much in the last couple days, and I don't remember what day I learned what because they're all mixed into like, oh, I feel like I've been here like a month, and it's good. It's a good feeling. I like it. Um, okay, woke up at 6:45 this morning. Yay! I was so tired. I was so negative. I was like, I am alive. This is awful. I forget what I said. But we were walking to breakfast, and it's a good like 5-10 minute walk over there. And I was just like I was like hating my life. Like I was not excited to be awake at 6:45. I almost skipped breakfast so that I could sleep longer, but then that would have been even worse because we had to play games before, like we had to play games before I got to eat again. I didn't want to be like drained because I didn't have any food in me, so I was like, no, I need to eat. But I was like, we were like walking there, and I was like, oh, this is so terrible. I'm gonna have to go listen to somebody talk, and then we have to go outside in the heat and play stupid games or something like that. I said something along those lines, and I made it sound so terrible. And I didn't mean it. I was just really angry and tired. But then we got coffee, and then I was like, ah, this is great. I'm happy. And then I crashed. No magic powers. You smell really good. Oh, it's that lotion. Um, no, okay. If you watch my other video,
I've done it in
look
all
at
3 of them.
that. Oh, you have? I didn't know it was in all of them, but magic powers. But yeah. So we got coffee in me. It was good. Breakfast was awesome. Went to our first like little principle or our first principle of the day, and it was called Holy Sweat, Holy Surrender, and it was like HOLY sweat, and then WHOLLY surrender, and we've just kind of recap our other 2 principles we've learned were audience of one was the first one, and they all have questions that you ask with them, and then the second one was inside game, and the question for audience of one was who or what do you worship, right? Yeah, and then right, yeah, and then what's your motivation was the one for inside game, and then holy sweat, I'm gonna look it up because I don't. Oh, it was how do I grow. And then we learned another one. The second principle we learned was hurting for certain. I was like hunting, hurting for certain, and that was how do I deal with pain. So we did that principle, and okay, coffee makes me hyper. Like it's caffeine. It makes you crazy, but it only works for me when I have it like black, or when I have it in massive amounts at one moment. So I only had like a cup of like French vanilla, and it does the exact opposite when I have small amounts. So I was gone for the first 15 minutes of our, like, it's like a preaching is what they do for each principle. Like they preach for like 45 minutes. I was out, like like I was sitting beside Mary Kate and Jean, like our friend that I'm not sure if we talked about her, but yeah, she's our friend that lives across from Mary Kate and Sam. And I'm like sitting there, and I can feel my like hand, like I get this thing where like my hand can't write when I'm really tired, like my hand, or like I physically can't grip my pen. So I know I'm getting to that point where like I'm about to be gone, and I'm like fighting it. I'm like, I want to listen, I want to learn, like I'm learning so much, I want to keep growing. So I'm like trying, like I'm fighting my eyes. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stay awake. And I just all of a sudden I go from I'm gonna do it to Esther, and she like smacks my arm. So like because I guess I dropped my pen, and like she's like what, and she like looks over, and I'm like so I like wake up, and I'm like yep, and like 10 seconds later I was like dead, and so I was like dead for 15 minutes, and then I wake up and I have like massive amounts of energy after like 10 minutes. Like I don't even remember why I woke up, but I woke up and I'm like oh, I feel so good. It was like literally the best power nap ever, and I didn't even mean to. I didn't want to either. It was not on purpose, but like it was good enough to like I caught everything I needed to, like I caught the gist of it, and it was good. Got our stuff. We did a pregame before like we always do, and then got our stuff together and walked over to the fields to go play volleyball and like implement what we had learned. And it was cool. Intensity got higher today. They made us do laps. They made us run everywhere. Like walking is an option here. We don't walk. There's no walking. We run everywhere, which I love. I love running. Yay! My dream came true. But I don't know. It's hot outside. I like walking when it's hot. So yeah, we ran to like where we were going, and then we had to do a lap around like the field, the courts. Like they're not courts, like the volleyball nets that they set up. And they're like, hustle, hustle, come on, let's go, faster, come on. And I'm just like I haven't ran, and like I don't know, I took a break. Like I took a break from after season, so I'm like, and the air here is like already terrible to breathe. So my lungs are like, what's happening? This is terrible. So then we started our games. My team was on top. We won everything, won every game. And after everyone, they would like regroup us and we talk about it, blah, 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 and how we learned and grew. And then after that, after we did all the games, we did our discussion groups with like our little groups that we like are put in, and we talked, and it was amazing. Oh my gosh, like every time we meet, we just get that much closer and learn that much more about each other. I love it. It's awesome. And then after that, we had lunch, and that was really fun. And we had a new person sit with us today. Her name's Caitlin, and she was really like, everyone's so energetic. I don't know how that happens, but it was really fun. And we talked about like childhood songs that we used to sing and like Christian songs we used to do when we were little. And it was really funny. I was dying. Like I don't know that I've laughed that hard to this point at camp yet. So that was really fun. Then after that, we were like, okay, we're gonna take a quick like half-hour nap, and then we're gonna do it like a short run, and then we're gonna go explore. Like let's do a power nap. Like here we go. We get here, we all go to sleep. Sam and I passed out for the entire 2-hour break. Like we were gone. I get a call from Mary Kate. She's like, "Hey, you up?" And I was like, "Yeah, right now I am." Like now that you woke me up, I'm up. And I thought we were going for a run, so I like get up, get my shoes on, like getting ready to go. I see it's 2:45. I'm like, 2:45? We have our next lesson in 15 minutes. Like, what? I just slept our entire break. So then I come in here and Sam's like, I just slept our entire break. So it's funny. But, yeah, so I was like, I'm glad I got to sleep because I was really tired. I was gone. So we went to our next principal, and that was the Holy Sweat, Holy Surrender, and that one was deep. That was really intense. Like, that one was really good. I feel like I've been struggling with surrendering lately. That's like surrendering my entire heart and my life and everything to God, and like letting Him take control instead of me having control. And so it was like it was a really good discussion or preaching. So that was awesome. So we got to go out in the courts and implement that. And like we talked about like having like trials and stuff, and like how that affects us in sport and in real life, and how to deal with them as a Christian and as a believer. And that was really intense. And so then we get out on the sinking volleyball courts, and the wind is already a factor in itself. Like, the wind is terrible. And then he was like, so then they, like, we play a couple games, and, like, they do a couple, like, little trials. Like, you can't talk. Like, stuff like we couldn't talk was, like, the hardest one, I think. And that was really cool. That one was really hard because, like, my team communicates a lot. We communicate so much. So it was really, like, everyone, I think, did. So it was really hard not to talk. But then when we did, it exploded, and everyone's like, whoa, so much energy because we couldn't talk. So then after that, we were playing, like, our last, like, second to last game of the day. And they come by, and they pick one team to have a trial. But we didn't really we didn't really know what was going on. They were just like, all right, they would go, there's 12 courts. And, I'm court number 4, I think is what I was, or number 5. So they come to me and they're like, all right, Team Ekron, which is my team, Ekron Eagles. They're like, you guys have to play with one foot. You have to stand on your left foot. Your right foot can't touch the ground. So painful. My left calf was like, no, like, I was going to die. Like, I literally just wanted to, like, quit. Like, I wanted to be like, this is the worst idea ever. But it was awesome to, like, watch my team, like, I don't know, just come together because we knew it was hard. And then they made it even harder and put their boundary lines for the other team, like what is inside, like, what's a point for us if they miss. They made them shorter. So not only could we, like, not get it over the net, but when we did get it over the net, it was out of bounds because it was, like, we had, like, this much room to get the ball over and actually make it in. Because out of bounds was everything else. And all the 5 people were, like, taking over, like, the little area that they had, and they could always bounce it back. It was so hard. So then, is your other one worse, too?
Yeah, I think they're getting to that point where they, like, look worse, but they're getting better.
Mary Kate hurt herself on her moped at home right before coming to camp. And they're really bad. Like, they're awful bruises. But she's still a fighter, though. She's been doing really good. So then, Mary Kate's team, what did you have to do? What was your challenge? Or did you not have one?
They just kept making bad calls.
Oh, yeah. The refs were really bad. Like, that was there. They made terrible calls. Like,
They kept
like
changing our score. It's 4-10 now. Now it's 18-19.
Yeah,
They're like, your score's wrong, you lose a point.
what?
The other team, though, they made the girl play by herself while her entire
Oh,
team
yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Mary Kate's other team. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so Mary Kate's, like, opposing team, that was, like, what, they were the ones that had the trial or whatever. And the one girl had to play against Mary Kate's team while the rest of the team had to do laps, like, a lap around the thing. And, like, she would have to play them by herself. And she still scored on them, which is crazy.
Yes.
But still, like, that's amazing that, like, that's happened, that, like, you know, that went on. Gosh, dang it. You want to do me a favor? My computer's about to die. You want to go get my charger for my room?
I think you should do it because last time I went and knocked, I think I woke the room up.
Oh, she's sleeping?
It was like dark in there, she was kind
Oh, gosh. Okay, let me make sure that I don't have it with me. Yeah, I don't, because I'm pretty sure I had my computer plugged in. Alright, we're going to turn this down. Do you want to talk about your experience while I go do this? Sam, do you want to talk about yours? While I go? It'll literally be like 30 seconds. Like, just tell them what your most favorite part of camp is.
We'll do it together.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go get my charger because didn't know my computer was dying. And I just left the story at the part where the trials, and I was going to talk about Sam's. So I'm going to go get my charger. They're going to talk. Yeah, Sam can talk about hers. And then I'm going to go get my charger. And I'll be right back.
You can sit. You can sit.
You gonna talk about your trial?
Okay. We had to get on. We had a piggyback. I had to get. Well, the girls. We had 3 girls and 2 guys on our team, and 2 girls were supposed to get on the guys' backs, and then there was supposed to be 1 solo girl. Well, one of our guys was injured. He has like a hurt knee. So one of the other girls was like, "Hey Sam, get on my back," which I felt so bad because she's super thin. Like, I know she weighs like so much less than me, and I'm so much bad. I felt so bad. But we had to serve piggyback, and like, how do you do that? So I held the ball out and I dropped it and she kicks it over and we made it and we scored. Isn't that so funny? And then like the ball
And
like,
Esther's back.
She can finish. And the ball what?
I don't know.
She's like, Isn't that crazy? Like,
running.
who? Like, the guys had to put the girls on. Wait, was it a girl had to put you on her back?
Well, our guy was injured. So yeah.
This is hard. Yeah,
Brian, he's
so a girl had to pick you up on her back. So a girl had to carry her, and then they had to play volleyball. Like, all these trials were so crazy, but they were so frustrating. So frustrating. But they definitely taught us a lesson, and we got to talk about it afterwards, and it was really cool. I think most teams that had the trials got stronger afterwards. And then the game after that, we won again, of course, because my team was on top. Like, we were dominating, God's glory. And it was nothing compared to playing on one leg for like 15 minutes. It was awful. So yeah, so that was cool. Then we went, after that we had dinner. Oh, we had our like reflection time that we always do after every single one of them, and like we kind of do it on our own. We didn't get in discussion groups this time though, which I thought was kind of weird. So we went to dinner, and dinner was, oh my gosh, was so much fun because all 3 of us walked together, like me, Sam. Oh, it was me, Sam, and Mary Kate, and Winter was another girl that she's in my small group, but she didn't eat with us. But we're at dinner and like we are all getting our food or whatever. Like, we're all getting food. We put our stuff down at a table first, and then we went and got our food. Sam gets her food first, and she goes and sits down at the table that we've already decided that us 3 are gonna sit at. And I go like, I don't know this at the time, obviously, because I'm getting food. So I come back, and Sam's sitting there with a guy's sitting at our table, and I was like, I didn't know who it was. Like, we met a bunch of people here, so like, I would have figured if anyone sat with us, it'd be people we'd know. So there's a guy, and I was like, I've never met him, but maybe he's Sam's friend. Like, I don't know. So like, I sit down, and I'm like, who are you? And so we find out his name's Charlie, and he does football. And so I sit by him, like he's in the seat beside where I put my stuff. So I sit down beside him, and Sam's sitting at my like over here, and then some other guy sits down like this way from me, and I'm like, what's happening? Like, this is awesome. Like, we're getting to know more people. Like, I love eating with new people every time. So he sits down, and I get to know him, and his name was Alex, but we call him Feely. And then Mary Kate sits down, and she's like, oh, cool. So the two guys get up to like get more food or something, and we're like, Mary Kate's like, good job, girls. Like, good job, ladies. Like, getting some guys to, like, sit over with us. Like, we've had new people at our table, but it's always been girls. And we meet new guys, but they're always at, like, other places. Like, when we went bowling yesterday, like, stuff like that. So I was like, I didn't do anything. They were here when I got here. Sam's like, I didn't either. They just came to me.
It's come to me.
I was like, yeah, you go, Sam. You make those guys come to you. Yeah, yeah. So it was so funny. It was so awesome. So then they, like, cracked us. They were really cool. Like, talking to them was getting to know them and, like, in their faith and stuff. And, like, getting to know their schools and how God's working on their teams and things like that was really awesome. So then they leave. And so it's left with just me, Sam, and Mary Kate at this table. And behind, like, in front of me and behind them two were these football players from from Michigan State. And they're a group of, like, a bunch of black guys. So then we're sitting there, and one of the black guys looks at me, and they're like, excuse me, can I ask you a question? And I was like, yeah, like, of course. And they're like, do you have wet dreams? And I was like, I literally did not. Sam's face was priceless. Like, amazingly. She's like, So that, like, literally blew up. Like, it was the most, like, it was so deep and personal and honest conversation I've ever had with anyone. And these were, like, football players. Like, I don't know. I feel like football players are like, oh, we're tough. But, like, they, like, were real about stuff. And, like, it just, like, the conversation got so big that people just, like, kept coming and, like, inputting their ideas. And it was awesome. Like, it was a really good, like, spiritual talk. And it was a good, really good question. So, because the question originally was, is it sinful? So, like, we talked about it. And it was just awesome. And we had a relationship talk tonight, so that was like a good start to that. So we came back from dinner and kind of chilled for a while, and then we went to the relationship talk at 7:15, and oh my gosh, it was so good. Teg was the one who talked. I thought his name was Ted, but it's Teg, and he's like, I don't even know how old he is, but he got married at 31 and was a virgin when he got married, and so he did the relationship talk, and I think he's been married for 10 years. So he's, 41, maybe a little older, 50. I don't know how long he's been married. But he gave the relationship talk, and he did not censor anything. He was real about he was real with everything. And he kind of, we followed this, with everything, we had notes. So he followed this, just so I can remember, I'm kind of going to go through what we learned, because, oh my gosh, it was amazing. I've never had the whole, relationship sex talk with my parents. I knew what sex was because other people told me, but I didn't know. We learned it at school. That's what I learned it at school. But so it was, really neat to hear the, Christian perspective of sex and relationships and things. And I've learned about relationships and, through Christ and stuff, in a Christian home and things, but it wasn't, this deep or presented in a way that was for college students. So this is really awesome. So I'm trying to find the page. Okay. Sex and the Glory of God is what it was called. And he went through, how there's 4 purposes of why sex was created. And it was to have babies, for unity, for pleasure, and for glory. You have, obviously, babies is self-explanatory. Unity is because, two people come together, a man and a woman come together when you have sex. So, obviously, that there's a purpose for that. Pleasure, because it feels good. And God made it for it to feel good. He meant it for it to be fun. And then for the glory of God. And it was so funny when he was just really funny and really personal and really personable and really cool. And when he went through the pleasure one or the glory one, he's like, you're probably not thinking man, this feels good, but I'm doing it for the glory of God. It was so funny. But it's true. If you do it correctly, if you use sex correctly, it is for the glory of God because God created it. He made it so that we could do it. So then he talked about foreplay, and that was a lot different than what I've ever heard. He talked, it was just how far you can go with someone, and he explained how foreplay was created to go all the way, to get you excited in order to have sex. So foreplay in itself is sex. Like, it's all one thing. It's not like foreplay and sex. It's like sex and foreplay is part of that. Which I've never heard it like that. So I don't know. That kind of, it was new and really interesting. Um, and then he talked about how far can you go with someone, and he's basically like said whatever you want your future spouse to have done when they come into marriage with you is what you should be doing. And he's like, you have to set boundaries and like basically think about the future. Like, even if you're engaged with that person, you might not marry them. So think about what you want to be able to tell your future spouse. Be like, this is what I've done, and what you want to hear from your spouse, and like that's where your limit should be with your relationship right now. Which I thought was also kind of cool. Like, I don't know, it was all really neat. Like, so many new things at one time. So then we talked about forgiveness, and he set the example of girls are crock pots and guys are microwaves. And he's like, not every guy's a microwave, but like the majority of guys are microwaves, and the majority of girls are crock pots. And he's like, what's a crock pot do? Like, how does it work? And it's all the guys are like, slow. And we're like, okay, yeah. Like, when it comes to sex things, we are like, obviously it takes more to do it for a girl than for a guy. And it's like, for guys, you guys are microwaves. You push a couple buttons and whoop, that's what he said. So I was like, we were all cracking up. He was so funny and so real. So he talked about that and how like girls and guys think about it differently. Guys are like, you can have sex. I'm going to do the intimate thing so that I can have sex. And girls were like, you can have my body as long as I get the intimate. Like, as long as we get, intimate afterwards. Like, not physically intimate, but like emotionally intimate afterwards. So it's kind of like the reverse order. So we talked about that for a while. And then he talked about being forgiven. And he was still being like really fun and really cool and like being real, and like the energy was up and stuff. But it got a little more serious just because like obviously forgiveness is a little more serious than everything we've been talking about. So he takes this like mason jar and fills it up with water. And then he's like, all right, this is like, you're pure, you're sexually pure with this like clear water. And then he puts like some stuff in it. Like, I think he put like a spice in there first, and then he put, what was the next thing he put in there? Weed? It was really weed? I don't know if it was really weed. I thought it was like some other type of spice, but he said it was weed. Yeah, he said it was weed, but I thought it was like a representation of it, but it looked like legit stuff. So we're going to say put weed in there. And then he put Bud Light in there. And then he's like, all right. So he like holds it up and he's like, this looks nasty. And it did. It looked disgusting. He's like, you take a drink of it. This is your life. Like, if you are sexually impure, this is your life. Like, this glass is your life. So he drinks it, and then he's like, oh, that is terrible. Oh my gosh, that's so bad. And we're like, ugh, that looks terrible. Like, why would you drink that? So he's like, but watch. He takes this bucket thing, like the jars that you fill up, like athletic jar things that you like, the jug things that you have at sports games, like you pull a little thing and like the water stuff or drinks come out. He like grabs that, puts it on the ground, and we're like, oh, he's gonna pour it in. But he grabs a gallon of water and holds a mason jar over it. And then he's like, this is God's grace. Like, this is God making you pure. He wants you to be clean. And this is you, like, asking for that. So he, like, pours the water over the already full jar. Like, the jar's already full. And he's, like, pouring it over. And it's, like, overflowing. Like, it's just overflowing. He pours the entire gallon over. And he's like, this is God's grace. Like, it is never ending. Like, you're like, okay, God, I get it. Like, I have your grace. And he's like, I have more for you. I have so much more for you. And oh my gosh, like when that happened and he like stops, like there's no more water in the jar and he holds it up and there's only clear water in the jar, I teared up. I was like, that's amazing. Like, the fact that that's exactly how it works. God just like fills you up. Like, you're already full of crap, and then he fills you up, and because he's filling you with so much grace and so much love, it's like, it doesn't even, like, all the other bad stuff comes out, and it's gone, it's forgotten and forgiven, and it was amazing. So then after that, we went into a more, like, personal time, and he played the song, and, like, you were supposed to reflect and ask forgiveness and, like, let it. And I'm not even going to go into that, because that was so personal, it's not even something I'm, like, comfortable sharing, but it was, I'm just going to say, the entire room changed. The mood was there. God was there. Like, the Holy Spirit was working in 150 students and the staff at that moment. And it was amazing. Like, I can't even explain it, and I'm not even gonna try because it was so personal and emotional that there are no words. But that was awesome. So then we got done with that, and they had a number up on the screens the whole time that you could text your questions instead of having like to raise your hand, which is awesome. So no one felt like weird or anything. So we took a 10-minute break, went to the bathroom, everyone got themselves together, came back. He answered questions. It was awesome. And most of the questions I already like knew and heard, but I learned the one that got me the most, masturbation. One of the questions was that someone texted in was, is masturbation a sin? And I didn't know that it was. I mean, I'm not saying I'm like, oh yeah, I think it's. I didn't know anything of it. Like, I had no idea whether it was or not. Like, it's something that we hear so often and something that people just do that I never thought of it as a sin. I'm like, they're just doing it with themselves. Like, it's not that bad. But that's the thing that you're doing with yourself. Like, he explained the fact that because you learned your way and like how you can make yourself happy, then when you get married and do it with someone else, you're gonna be like, they don't do it like I do it. Like, they don't do it as good as I do. Like, I know how to make this work. They can't do that to me. And I was like, I've never heard anyone talk. First off, I've never heard them talk about masturbation, period, like that. And second off, like the way he explained everything, I was like, wow, I never knew that when a guy did that. Okay, I guess girls do it too. But I think about masturbation more with guys. But whenever they do it, it's like they're sinning. Like, I don't know. It's amazing. So that was kind of new, and I learned that. So then after that, everyone could go downstairs if you wanted. They separated the guys and the girls, and you could, like, go more into depth. And then the captains, like, they picked certain people to be captains, because tomorrow is the special, which is, like, a scary thing that is going to last 18 hours, and you don't have any idea what it actually is, and we've only heard rumors, but it's supposed to be really tough and awesome. And they're picking teams, or they picked teams tonight, and it was a draft pick. So I got asked to be on 2 teams. So I don't know who's going to get me, but I was really excited that I got asked. So we'll see. I might not even have either of the 2 people ask me, so we'll see. But it's going to be really intense, and I'm really excited. But they told us to get a lot of sleep, because we will not be getting any. Or we'll be getting very little. I don't think we'll be getting any at all. But, so yeah. So it's 11:30, and we're going to go to sleep because, well, we need it. And even though I napped today, I'm still going to go to sleep because I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. So yeah, we are all really excited, and it's been another awesome day of just growing and learning so much more, not only for our sport, but just how to deal with being a Christian and a college athlete and all that in the real world, because it's easy here, but it's not going to be easy when we go back home, and we know that. So keep praying that the rest of camp goes well, and that tomorrow and this special that's going to go on goes well, and that we learn and grow just like we have been, and that we keep making relationships with, like, the people that are here, and, like, awesome friendships that will last forever and ever. So, night. Keep praying for us. Bye.